7 MPs, tired of the Labour Party's shift to the radical left, have left the Labour Party and formed their own independent group, but they're no more representative of the working class than Jeremy Corbyn is. The Labour Party stopped representing the working class a long time ago. Even old-school socialist Jeremy Corbyn fails to represent the views, interests and experiences of the working class, instead shifting to extreme positions on industry and even harbouring some of the worst anti-Semites in Britain in his party. And I think it's unquestionable that the Labour Party is an extremist party at this point. They've abandoned the principle of sticking up for the working classes, and so 7 Labour MPs have now bravely decided they're going to leave the party and form their own new party in Westminster. But they won't be calling by-elections, so maybe it's not as brave as I thought. This morning, a group of 7 Labour MPs, led by Chuka Umunna, announced that they were leaving the Labour Party. The Sun reports, the other MPs involved are Luciana Berger, Chris Leslie, Angela Smith, Mike Gapes, Anne Coffey and Gavin Shuker. They're forming a new grouping in the House of Commons called the Independent Group, but fell short of creating a whole new political party. The rebels are furious at Mr Corbyn's Brexit policy and his failure to tackle anti-Semitism in the party. Ms Berger, the Jewish MP who has faced a torrent of abuse from far-left activists, said, "I cannot remain in a party that I have today come to the sickening conclusion is institutionally anti-Semitic." Mr Leslie, the former Shadow Chancellor, added, "We can no longer knock on doors and support a government led by Jeremy Corbyn and the team around him." He said, "This has not been an easy decision for any of us. We have all been Labour MPs for years, but the Labour Party we joined is no longer today's Labour Party." But really, there's much more to this story than just anti-Semitism. In fact, I think this is all about Brexit. This new independent group, not technically a party, but effectively a party in Westminster, is furious that Jeremy Corbyn is effectively and technically in favour of leaving the European Union. Every single one of these MPs that's defected to this new Westminster independent grouping campaigned for Remain during the Brexit referendum. And Mike Gapes even said that he was furious that the Labour leadership is complicit in facilitating Brexit. Their official statement is even more vague on Brexit, and it says, "Labour now pursues policies that would weaken our national security, accepts the narratives of states hostile to our country, has failed to take a lead in addressing the challenge of Brexit, and to provide a strong and coherent alternative to the Conservatives' approach." So no promises on Brexit, just that they don't like the current approach put forward by the Tories. So I don't for a moment think that these guys are going to, as a result of that, start campaigning for some kind of hard Brexit. Really, I think this is just an attempt at stopping Brexit and forming a new anti-Brexit movement in Westminster under the guise of being centrist. And it won't work, because polls have shown time and time again that the British people do actually want a new centrist party or political force in the UK. But I've said many times before that the idea the politicians have about being centrist and the people's idea of centrist are two very, very different things. Ask the average voter if they think that open borders and reversing a democratic decision we made in 2016 are centrist, and they'd laugh you out the door. It's pretty extreme. But indeed, it's extreme in a different way than Corbyn's anti-Semitic Labour Party. After it was announced that MPs were leaving the party, the Labour Party, the Young Labour Twitter account posted this. They said, "Though cowards flinch and traitors sneer, we'll keep the red flag flying here." Really, the red flag. I have no words. It's this extremism that Chuka Umunna and co are trying to use to make themselves look like they're more centrist, that they're more in touch with the regular people, but really it's a load of nonsense. As reported in The Spectator, there are 2 obvious flaws in this approach and the launch of this group that are really kind of funny. The first is that Chuka Umunna said this: "The usual way things are often done in Westminster is a little bit, you have a podium, someone goes up and tells you how it's going to be." Well, he literally announced this new group with a microphone in front of a podium, with each MP assigned particular answers to particular questions from journalists. And he also said, "The idea that you can cook this up in Westminster is not the way people want things to be done." But this new party was literally cooked up in Westminster. The new independent group in Westminster, formed by 7 MPs who left Jeremy Corbyn's anti-Semitic extremist Labour Party, is not a new centrist party, and it's not representative of the working class. These sneering Remainers are just trying to position themselves as centrist. and an alternative to Corbyn's extreme Labour Party, but given that all of them want to reverse the decision we made in 2016 to leave the European Union, I'd say they were just as extreme as Jeremy Corbyn. I mean, is opposing democracy not an extreme position? Is wanting open borders not an extreme position? This independent group may well be the new SDP. It may well prove to be a new force in politics, and I do think it will be useful, but not in the way that they hope. I think the independent group will serve to fracture traditional Westminster politics, break those traditional tribal voting loyalties, and welcome in new political forces and new political parties into Westminster. It might be a bit chaotic for a while, but I think it will change politics in Britain for the good. I hope. We're not funded by the government, we don't have big sponsors, and we certainly don't have massive donors. If you'd like to help support our work, please go to rebeldonations.com/thebuck.